Inflation does not destroy an economy overnight. It moves slowly at first, almost quietly, and most people do not notice it in the beginning. Prices rise a little, then a little more, then suddenly everything becomes expensive and people start asking what happened. By that time, the smart people have already prepared, and everyone else is trying to survive. Inflation is not just about expensive food or expensive fuel. Inflation is about the loss of purchasing power, which means the money you worked hard for starts losing its value day by day. The biggest mistake people make during inflation is holding too much cash and buying the wrong things too late. Before inflation gets worse, the most important idea to understand is simple. You must convert weak money into strong assets and useful goods. When inflation rises, cash becomes weaker, but real goods, assets, and essential items become more valuable. This is why wealthy people do not panic during inflation. They prepare before everyone else even realizes what is happening. The first and most important category of things to buy before inflation gets worse is long-lasting food. Food prices are usually the first to rise and the last to come down. During inflation, supply chains become expensive, transportation costs increase, fuel prices rise, and farmers face higher production costs. All of this makes food more expensive. Smart families always store long shelf-life foods such as rice, wheat, flour, lentils, pasta, cooking oil, sugar, salt, powdered milk, canned food, and dry beans. These items can last for months or even years if stored properly. When inflation rises sharply, food prices sometimes double or triple. But if you already have a food supply, you are protected from sudden price shocks. Food storage is not panic buying, it is financial planning. The second important thing to buy before inflation gets worse is household essentials. These are items people use every day and cannot stop using. For example, soap, shampoo, toothpaste, detergent, toilet paper, batteries, light bulbs, cleaning supplies, and basic medicines. These items become more expensive over time, and during inflation, their prices increase faster than expected. Buying these items in bulk before inflation becomes severe can save a lot of money in the long run. Many people ignore small items, but inflation affects small items the most because their prices increase frequently. The third important category is basic medicines and health supplies. During inflation or economic crisis, medical supplies often become expensive or sometimes unavailable. It is always smart to keep basic medicines such as painkillers, fever medicine, bandages, antiseptic, vitamins, and first aid supplies. Health expenses during inflation can become a major financial burden, and having basic supplies already stored can reduce stress and expenses. The fourth and very important category is fuel and energy-related items. During inflation, energy prices almost always increase. Fuel becomes expensive, electricity bills increase, and transportation becomes costly. People who prepare early often buy backup energy sources, such as rechargeable batteries, power banks, solar lights, gas cylinders, or fuel storage if possible. Energy is the backbone of modern life. And when energy becomes expensive, everything becomes expensive. The fifth category is clothing and footwear. Many people do not think about clothes during inflation. But clothing prices rise significantly because they depend on manufacturing, transportation, and import costs. Buying durable clothing, jackets, shoes, and essential wear before inflation becomes severe can save a lot of money later. The idea is not to buy luxury fashion, but to buy durable and necessary clothing that will last for years. The sixth and one of the most important categories is tools and repair equipment. During inflation, buying new things becomes expensive. So repairing old things becomes more common. People who own tools can repair furniture, fix small home problems, repair electronics, and maintain their homes without paying expensive service fees. Basic tools such as screwdrivers, hammers, wrenches, pliers, sewing kits, and repair kits become very valuable. In difficult economic times, people who can repair things save more money than people who constantly replace things. The seventh category is electronics that improve productivity or income. During inflation, income becomes very important. People who can work online, learn new skills, or run small businesses from home have a big advantage. Buying a reliable laptop, internet equipment, storage devices, or work-related electronics before inflation rises can be a smart investment. These are not just expenses, they are tools that can generate income in the future. The eighth category is gold and silver or other stores of value. Throughout history, when currencies lost value due to inflation, precious metals retained value. The reason is simple. Currencies can be printed by governments, but gold and silver cannot be printed. They are limited resources. When inflation rises, people often move their money into gold, silver, land, or other real assets. These assets protect your wealth from losing value. The ninth category is land or property if possible. Real estate is often considered a hedge against inflation. Because as prices rise, property values and rents also rise. Land is one of the few assets that cannot be created by printing money. While not everyone can buy property, those who can often protect their wealth better during inflation than those who only hold cash. The 10th and very important thing to buy before inflation gets worse is skills and education. This may sound different from physical items, but skills are one of the strongest assets during inflation or economic crisis. Learning skills such as digital work, repair work, or technical skills can provide income even when the economy becomes unstable. Inflation destroys savings, but skills create income. Another important thing to understand is the difference between assets and liabilities during inflation. Assets are things that help you earn money. Liabilities are things that cost money and lose value over time. For example, expensive luxury items, expensive cars, and unnecessary gadgets. During inflation, buying liabilities is a big mistake because they do not generate income and may become expensive to maintain. During inflation, the goal is survival, stability, and smart financial decisions. People who survive successfully follow a simple strategy. They reduce unnecessary expenses, buy essential goods in advance, convert cash into useful assets, and build multiple income sources. History shows that during every major inflation period, the middle class suffers the most. Poor people live with limited money, and rich people own assets. But the middle class usually holds cash savings, and when inflation rises, their savings lose value quickly. Preparation is extremely important. Inflation is not just an economic event, it is a lifestyle change. People start cooking at home more and using public transport more. Families that plan early suffer less stress and less financial pressure. One important strategy is bulk buying of non-perishable items. When you buy in bulk before prices rise, you are basically paying future prices at today's lower price. This is a very effective strategy. Another important strategy is diversification. Do not keep all money in one place, some in cash, some in gold, some in skills. Diversification reduces risk. People often think inflation is only about money, but it is actually about preparation and behavior. One family may struggle while the other survives comfortably. If inflation becomes very severe, people change their behavior completely. They buy goods immediately after receiving salary because prices may rise next month. The biggest lesson from history is this: the earlier you prepare, the cheaper everything is for you. Inflation rewards early planners. So the final idea is simple. Buy things you will definitely need. Buy things that protect value, and avoid buying things that only show status. Because when inflation really gets worse, people do not wish they had more luxury items. They wish they had more food, more assets, and more income sources. And by the time everyone realizes this, prices are already too high. That is why preparation is not about fear. Preparation is about intelligence.